Hello, this is Wild Lee from Wild Lee Tarot, and this is your weekly energy reading for the people for the week beginning February 22nd, 2021. And tuning into the energy this week, I was really flooded and almost kind of shut down a little, got a little quiet. There is a huge buzz in the field that can be quite activating. And if you are a very sensitive person, just know this. Know that that is available to all of us at present. And if we don't have avenues and ways to move that energy out and through the body, that it can sometimes feel a little jarring, a little overwhelming. We can feel like we need to get somewhere, but there's just nowhere for us to get to. This buzz, this desire to move without a destination. It is just what is here and what is present, and it's okay. And the cards and the stone that came forward to help support us in this week really support that message. So the first card that came through from the Tarot of the Cat People, we have the Ace of Swords. And the aces, they are always about a beginning, a spiral, something new, a shift happening. And this ace in particular speaks to that element of fire, that fire that is within us, that pushes us forward, that cultivates desire and triggers passions. And of course, this makes so much sense as we are doing the slow crawl towards spring. Where I am today, it's sunny and beautiful, yet cold, and I can feel that urge to be outside, and yet I still need to bundle up. And it's not quite as easy as it is in the spring and summer. So we have this energy of this ace of wanting to move forward, of starting something new, of getting things done. And yet I'm really drawn in this card to the figure having the shield. You know, like we want to move forward in our lives, but we're still feeling a little contracted, a little protective of ourselves. We're still collectively in a pandemic in which we are needing to have clear boundaries. Even though as an animal body, the world is urging us forward into excitement and newness, we're all still experiencing different levels of needing to have boundaries and caretake ourselves and do whatever feels appropriate for each one of us to show up in our lives in a way that feels stable while we're still being pushed by this fire energy, right? And from the Threads of Fate Oracle deck, we received Get Wild. And so I'm feeling this really in tune with this Ace of Swords in that we need to come back to the animal body. We need to come back to our roots. We need to offer ourselves a wild outlet to allow this energy to move through the conduit, to not get stuck in the body. This can be something as simple as taking a walk, getting outside. Maybe it's time for you to start planting your garden, getting your hands in some soil, maybe putting some seeds in, or at least gathering the supplies to do so. There's this quality of wildness, literally not wild like, woo, spring break, crazy, but wild like getting back to our primal roots, getting back to that which we are, which is an animal body in a physical 3D world. We are these huge psycho-spiritual beings. We are quantum beings, but we have also chosen to embody, to be in a body, in this body for myself, in that body for you, to have an experience of being a human being, of being an animal. And so we need to tap into that wildness. What does your wild animal body need in the face of this fiery Ace of Swords energy? What does your body need? Do you need more food? Do you need protein? Do you need more water? Do you need more exercise? Do you need to dance? Do you need to make love? Do you need to Massage yourself if human connection is not available to you at this time. This is the question that comes forward with Get Wild. What does this body need in order to reconnect with those wild roots that we all contain within us, right? And the stone that came to support us this week, we have the Skeletal Quartz. And for myself, this stone always speaks to the anxiety depression loop that we can all sometimes fall into if we are not caretaking ourselves, if we're not getting our basic needs met, if we're living too much up in here and just allowing the energy to spiral instead of bringing it into the body and allowing it to move through. And so the medicine of skeletal quartz is that we need to be conscientious this week. We have this huge rush of energy. Ace of Swords moving through. We've been given the invitation to get wild. If we choose not to get wild, we may be looking at this anxiety or depression phase this week. This is a natural occurrence. This is what happens when energy gets into the body and isn't allowed the space to move, transform, transmute, right? Emotions are simply energy in motion. And this goes for anxiety and depression as well. They are emotional states of being. They are energy that wants to be in motion. And if it feels to the ego or the mind like it is too big or too much, depression might set in to create a blanket or inertia to slow the energy down so that we can digest it, right? And if it is something that we want to get done, we want to go, we want to do, but there's no outlet for us to do it, we can't see outside of our box, we can't see any other alternatives, anxiety might then be the consequence of this natural loop where we have this energy, this buzz, it got to do something with it and we can't. So it just bounces around looking for an exit strategy, and we suffer the consequences of that, right? And just to round out this message, none of this is good, bad, right, or wrong, right? If you experience anxiety or depression, I know I myself do often, it is not a thing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to be judgmental about. It is a piece and parcel of the human experience. It's one of many that we have the opportunity to dip our toes into. So there's no judgment here if this is your state of being right now. It is so okay. I affirm that for you. I honor your experience. And we can perhaps soften into this idea of looking at it as something different from an energetic point of view that perhaps might offer an opportunity to work with that energy in a different way, one that may serve you better in the day or in the year or in your lifetime. Just feeling into that for yourself and knowing that you are the best caretaker for your body, your life, and your experience, and that I have full trust that you know exactly what you need when you tune into yourself. That feels like the full message this week. I hope that it serves you well, and I hope that you have everything that you need. And I also hope that you can tune into this idea of get wild and ignite within yourself the sensation of desire. What does your body desire this week? What does your heart desire? And that it's okay to have these desires. It's okay to have longing. This is also part of the human experience. And we can use that juice to fuel our lives and our momentum forward, especially when we have all of this energy behind us, giving this nice push in that direction towards the future. Be well, and I will see you next week.